What's up, guys? Tookie here, back again with some more NHL 16 and my Boston Bruins GMO. This is episode 50. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, before we get into the sim, which is predominantly what this episode's going to be, I have made one trade. That is trading Dave Legwand, not the actual David Legwand, but a regen, along with Stefan Hamill. Two centers, both AHL potential, didn't really need them. We get some draft picks from Calgary, and that freed up some space to sign some of the players we just drafted. Now, we have a logjam of talent down in Providence. A lot of guys that might turn into something, and these are the same type of players where I could trade them to try and get better people, or I can hold on to them to try and have them actually grow into the players that, would be the caliber of player that we would eventually trade for. It's a mess right now. We're at a deadlock. We're at a standstill. Not sure what direction to go. And obviously our main roster, kind of full of these guys with a Vinaganov, Bader, Suglobov, Valentenko, all guys that we need to eventually turn it around. But in the AHL, we signed Vic Earl, we signed Paris Hogan, we signed Tikkanen. Defensively, we have D'Agostini and Burrows in there as well. So again, I'm not sure what to do. I think I'm going to stand pat in the meantime, but we do have a lot of scratched players for the first time. Whether or not we eventually trade them, yet to be seen. But I'm hoping they can turn it around, but if we have to trade them to really make a strong playoff push, so be it. It's season 9. Season 10 looks to be the cutoff point. We'll see what happens. So let's do this. Let's start the season 9 sim. We're probably going to go right up to the trade deadline, just in case we decide to make any moves. And let's go up to this Detroit game. We'll do it live. We start off the season with back-to-back shootout wins over Washington and Dallas. So a good start there from Marcus Olsson. But now it is time. Mikhail Soderstrom will make his NHL debut here against the Detroit Red Wings. We're going to save that Montreal game for Olsson because we don't exactly want to lose it. But let's see what happens here. Can Mikhail Soderstrom get his first career win in his first start? And he can't. It's a shootout loss. A little bit disappointing there, but that's not too bad. Again, we are going to run these two goalies as a tandem. If one starts to struggle, I have no problem going with the other. Obviously, the game plan is for Soderstrom to turn into just a beast of a goaltender. Marcus Olsson is in his last year of growth. Still an elite tag, but obviously he's not going to turn into Carey Price in one season. Now, before I forget to, I wanted to show you guys one problem with one particular player. I mentioned it in the last episode. That's Sheldon Darling. You can see he's an 81, but by default, he is an 86 overall. And again, it's kind of like, man, I say again a lot. I gotta stop that, don't I? Habits. Darling, he started to regress because, like I said, I called him up to essentially, and let's just see how they react to this. Okay, good. I called him up so he could just kind of ride the bench, like, in case we needed him. But then because he's scratched, he's been in a downward spiral, kind of like what we saw happen with Marchand not too long ago. But let's see what happens here. We don't have any back-to-backs for the rest of the month, which is a shame. We get a 5-3 win against Montreal. And Providence, our starting goalie, Stuart Stasiak, has been injured, so we will have to do that manually. Why the hell not? The AHL, too, we have 3 goaltenders who could turn into something. It's a good problem to have. Lacerte will be the starter from now on. We will bring in Chubarov as the backup. Let's get back here and see what happens in this game against Buffalo. It's another shootout win. We've been to overtime in 4 out of our first 5 games. We lose 4-1 to Vancouver, but not a bad stretch of games for Marcus Olsson. So I think we are going to go probably to the end of the month. We'll go here to the 31st. Olsson will get these next 5 games. Let's see what happens. Now, unfortunately, we get through one game, and as you can kind of see, it was a shootout win against the New York Islanders, and then David Pastrnak goes down. He's not going to be out for long, which is a good thing, but of course, anytime we have an injury, we need all the points that we can get. It would be nice to win the President's Trophy again. But let's see, who should we call up here? There is one guy too. Muzzin is actually a 4th line potential guy. So I think I'm going to call him up. Of course, he's immediately going. Let's see, is he going to be nervous about his call up first of all? No, wow, he actually gained morale about it. Or is it going to pop up? There it is. Nervous about the call-up. And then he's going to have further negative morale once we send him back down, because this game is just amazing. So Muzzin has gotten the call-up. We have a Finneganoff now on the second line. And since now we've had the trouble, let's just do the rest of these live. We have an away game against Toronto. That's a 4-2 loss. We get through one game, and again, the scouting pops up. Moving forward, David Pastrnak is back in the lineup. He's still hurt. We actually left him out of the lineup for one game, despite him not being fully healthy. He, of course, lost morale. But Ivan Suglobov goes down to a broken jaw. As you see, we lost 3-1 to Nashville. Everything is happening. Stuart Stasiak can stay scratched. See what happens here against Buffalo. That is 3 straight losses. Adrian Haas goes down to injury. And I noticed that a lot, is we've really avoided the injury bug. This season could be very, very bad for us if this is any indication. Moving forward from here, Travis Barron gets the call-up after the latest injury, and Soderstrom is in. Obviously, Olsen, 3 straight losses now. We've lost 4 out of our last 5 games. Soderstrom doesn't do too much better, and I'm going to have to put Suglobov back in so he doesn't lose morale. Now that all that's settled, obviously we have hit the end of the month, and not the best start. Certainly not what I was hoping October would be, with a 5-5-1 record. But moving on now to November, I'm going to give Soderstrom this next game against the Panthers. If he doesn't get a win here, we'll put Olsen back in. He doesn't, and Suglobov is out again. What the hell is going on with all of these injuries? Holy shit. Moving forward, not only is Suglobov out again with a fractured jaw, we've also lost Jake DeBrusk. I have no idea for how long. This is the lineup. Tremblay is the new call-up, just for the hell of it. Olsen is back in net, but I have no idea. And I'm praying, I forget what fucking menu to go to, it's managed roster. Injury report, Jake DeBrusk, pending evaluation. So we don't even know. Adrian Haas is out until November. This could be a very, very bad season for us. Karma is finally catching up. Marcus Olsen is back in net, and we are going to sim up to the Montreal game. Toronto is a fucking incredible team this year, so we'll sim up to the Montreal game because I'm expecting the injuries to pop back up. So let's see what happens in these next 3 games for Marcus Olsen. And surprisingly, that went very well. A 3-0 shutout win of LA. After that game, we got Suglobov and DeBrusk back, which is huge. We get back-to-back 3-1 wins against New Jersey and Toronto. Both very good teams, so that went a lot better than expected, especially beating Toronto at an 11-3-1 record. They have been unreal. But it's time for Mikhail Soderstrom to get another start. He has not been good through his first 4 appearances. We really need him to step up. For the hell of it, I'm going to hold a team meeting. By default, we'll just do the second option because that tends to not have any negative consequences, and it didn't here as well. Mikhail Soderstrom, it's a big game, your first game against Montreal. Can you get us the win? And you can. 5-4 though, that's a little bit rocky. We're going to go with Marcus Olsen for the next couple of games. Suglobov still not healthy, but again, if I scratch him, he loses morale. I hate the morale system. The more I've played this GM mode, it really needs to be tweaked. But moving forward, let's give Marcus Olsen these next 3 games, because again, we have a back-to-back, and it's looking like we're going to give Soderstrom the game against Montreal again. So these next 3 games, Marcus Olsen, can you get us the wins? The stretch started off on a good note with a 5-3 win against Carolina, but back-to-back losses against the Winnipeg Jets and the Columbus Blue Jackets. I fucking hate the Blue Jackets in this series. Still no word on when Adrian Haas is back, but Mikhail Soderstrom, you get the game. You need to get us back on track here. Let's see what you can do. If he gets the win, he is starting against Pittsburgh, and he does. It's a 5-0 shutout, his first career shutout for Mikhail Soderstrom, and there is Adrian Haas. We put Haas back in the lineup. The Pittsburgh game went through. It is a shootout loss to the Penguins, but let's go ahead and give Soderstrom the Blackhawk game as well. He gets a win here. He'll stay in against Arizona, If not, we'll have to do quite a bit of tinkering. It's another shootout loss. You know what? 2 shootout losses. I'm not blaming him. We'll give him the game against Arizona. Marcus Olson will come back against San Jose. It's a 4-2 loss. Okay. So not too good of a stretch there. The month started off very promising, but we've kind of fallen back down to reality. And again, I don't expect too much from this lineup. You know, I know that we have 382s in right now. I've just gone best lines. It's kept Tremblay and Travis Barron in as opposed to Muzzin, Hawes, and Senyshyn. That is what it is. But it's just, man, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly content with the losing. I want to win. You know, I definitely want to get one more cup before we end this series, but not looking too good so far. The game against San Jose is a win. So that let me try that again. At the end of the month, we have a 12-9-3 record moving in to December, and we are going to get a good bit of the sim done right here. Soderstrom will play against St. Louis. Let's see how these next 4 games go for Marcus Olson. Also, just a note, Providence, 15-2-1. That is why I don't trade away prospects. They're very good. They just need to translate that to an NHL game. And once again, the start of the month goes incredibly well. 4 straight wins for Marcus Olson. Incredible. We now have a 16-9-3 record. That went a hell of a lot better than I ever would have expected. A bit of good news as well as we put Soderstrom in. Artemi Panarin is up to an 86. Sheldon Darling has rebounded to an 83 overall. He's in the last year of his contract. If we can just get him back to decent morale and then re-sign him, I'll be very happy. But Mikhail Soderstrom, can you get us a win? You have not taken away the starting job. You might, though, after a 4-1 victory. 17 wins now on the season. Moving forward, Marcus Olson is in, and we are going to go probably 3 games at a time here. Actually, you know what? Let's sim up to the Carolina game. Unless Olson starts to lose consecutive games, 3, 4, we won't switch him out. Let's see how the rest of the month of December goes. And just when things are looking up, Sheldon Darling goes down to an injured shoulder. Certainly not ideal, but hopefully he'll gain a little bit of morale after coming back from an injury. That's kind of the one bright side you could see coming out of this. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Jass here getting the call up. We're obviously going to go with the highest overall guy. I am going to call him up Mason Nueve, however the fuck you want to pronounce that, and Wolf are both younger. Jass is 26 and in the last year of his contract and of his potential growth. So we might as well call him up, because if we have to lose somebody on waivers, I would rather have it be him. Moment of truth time as Sheldon Darling is back. We are going to have to send somebody down. Again, it's going to be Jass. If we lose him, that sucks. But again, as I said, 26 years old in last year of his developments. Or we could go with Tremblay. I'm not too biased towards Tremblay. He has been playing. He actually hasn't been doing too bad as a 4th liner, although he has taken a spot away from Senyshyn and Hawes. Oh, what to do. He's a power forward that doesn't hit. He's got good strength, but he's a power forward that doesn't hit. You know what? It's going to be Tremblay. Let's send him down. If he gets claimed, it is what it is. I'm sure he will, or not. No, we actually kept him. All right then, perfect. Perfect situation as Nathan Tremblay goes back down to Providence. And let's see here now, if we just go best lines, what happens. It puts Senyshyn back in. We'll put Pasternak back up on the top line. Sheldon Darling's there. Everything is good. So finally, that sim period is over. We started off with a win against Nashville, a 6-5 overtime loss to Chicago, a win against Buffalo, loss to St. Louis, win against Columbus, but then 3 straight losses. So it was about time that Mikhail Soderstrom comes in anyway. But as we enter the new year, we're sitting on a 20-12-5 record. The Providence Bruins still just fucking destroying nearly everybody. A couple of losses starting to add up, but that's going to happen with the injuries. There's been so many goddamn roster changes, guys. I'm glad I cut out most of it, because this episode would be nearly double in length just because of the amount of changes. But let's do this. If Soderstrom gets the win, he'll start against Pittsburgh. and he does, and Sheldon Darling's injured again. Jesus Christ, man. Sergei Jas is in the lineup. Soderstrom will get the game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Can he get us a win? He cannot. 3-1 loss, and we have a big game coming up here against the New Jersey Devils. Marcus Olsson will get that start. And as we put Olsson in, keep in mind the new year has rolled over. He is now 27 years old. He is going to cap off at an 85, maybe an 86, so that is pretty disappointing. He is actually a starting goalie, though. A .921 save percentage is not too bad. Mikhail Soderstrom, 21 years old, though. Not too bad, though. He's up to a .925 save percentage. He's been playing very well. But Marcus Olsson gets the starts here, heading in to the new year, although if he loses, maybe we'll put in Soderstrom. So let's see. Can Marcus Olsson keep the starting job? It's an overtime loss. I'm going to stick with him. Let's see what happens here in these next few games. We're coming up to the end of this episode, guys. We're going to stop at the All-Star break, and in the next episode, we will sim the rest of it. But let's go up to this Minnesota game. We will stop it beforehand if Olsson can't get the wins. 2 wins, 2 losses, not the worst thing that could have happened with Marcus Olsson in goal. We are currently in a playoff spot. We are in second place in the Atlantic. Toronto right now, though, running away with it. They have a ridiculously good team, but let's see now if Mikhail Soderstrom can get the win here. It'll be his last start of the episode against the Minnesota Wild team that is not very good. And in saying that, okay, I was going to say, figured I jinxed it. It's a 4-1 win for Soderstrom. We will go and put Marcus Olsson back in goal for the final game. And that'll do it for this episode, guys. Again, just a lot of the sim. We have a lot of questions, though, that we need to answer in the next game as far as do we look to acquire anybody or do we just stay put. But last game of this episode for Marcus Olsson, and it ends on a 3-0 shutout. Let's sim up to the All-Star break exactly, which is weird because it's on a Monday. But let's see. We do have, and god damn it, Samu Tikkanen's out again. Let's just have assistant coach replace the player in the meantime. And at the All-Star break, we finish with a 25-15-6 record. The Providence Bruins, 27 wins already on the season. They are doing fantastic. But we are in second place in the Atlantic Division, and that is better than what I expected, especially after we started the sim and it got off to a pretty rocky start. But yeah, you can just see the Toronto Maple Leafs 12 points ahead of us. We do have a game at hand, but right now we got a decent little lead over Florida, but if they win out, they could tie us on points. But 56 points through 46 games, I will take that for this team. I was especially concerned once we traded away Luke Phillip, but so far so good, and hopefully that can continue. I do want to show you guys, though, really quick, not these special teams, because nobody gives a fuck about that. Can I switch to defense? Thank you. Nathan Keane up to a 96 overall. For all the people who said I made a mistake in trading Victor Hedman, just look at that. Look at that. Look at the attributes. Just look at it. Some mistake I made there, huh? But now that I've had my moment to gloat, unfortunately Sheldon Darling is down at an 82. He is regressing, and yeah, not very good from Sheldon Darling at a -16. Why he lost morale for ice time, who the fuck knows? He's a top 4 defenseman, getting top 4 minutes. But I mean, I'm still happy with our top 3 of Lozon, Keane, and Falk, but maybe we need to get somebody else. Sean Day is now 26 years old. He is top 4 potential. He is technically a top 4 guy, but he's not going to be taking that huge leap. Provorov, no growth left for him. He's not bad as a third pairing defenseman, but Sheldon Darling is obviously the big issue. The second we trade him away, he jumps back up to an 86, so it's a guaranteed loss. But it's starting to look like a Marchand situation where he is just not going to recover no matter what we do. And in the new year, we now have guys like DeBrusk, who are he's officially in his prime. Crosby's back up to a 90. He's going to be, trailing off. This might be his last year. I'm thinking in the next episode, we trade some prospects, some fringe prospects, and we make a run for the cup. Goaltending is the weak situation, but Marcus Olsson is playing above his overall with a .921 save percentage. Soderstrom's at a .928. I think we might have what it takes to make a run. But we will see what happens in the next episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time in episode 51.